For thousands of years, we humans have been intrigued by stars. Oh, not you, Clooney. So, it's no surprise that we continue to desire to build bigger and larger structures that stretch towards them. We will ultimately reach a point where we can no longer construct taller buildings. But where will that point be? To show how tall we can truly build, today we'll compare the sizes of the Burj Khalifa, the Exceed 4000, and the Space Elevator. Burj Khalifa. Did you know that in Dubai you can see the sunset twice in one day? From the foot of the Burj Khalifa, you can see it sink below the horizon before climbing the elevator to the viewing deck and see it set again. At 828 meters, the Burj Khalifa is so tall that the Dubai Islamic Affairs Department issued a decree in 2011 stating that anyone residing above the 80th floor must break their fast 2 to 3 minutes later during Ramadan to account for sunset timing. It is a bizarre idea, as the Burj Khalifa's initial plans were when they were originally disclosed. At the time, the thought of a structure more than twice as tall as the New York's famed Empire State Building, a structure so high that if you jumped off the top, you would attain terminal velocity before striking the ground, seemed unthinkable. Not only was it proven practicable, but it was also proven to be superior. The Burj Khalifa has been featured in a number of movies, including Mission Impossible. It is considered the granddaddy of them all, the world's most imposing structure at the moment. It was completed in only 6 years and is the world's tallest building. A spectacular example of next-generation super skyscraper architecture and engineering, considering it has been built and designed in the face of numerous hurdles. The skyscraper seamlessly blends cutting-edge technologies with cultural influences, emphasizing Dubai's immense ambition and riches. Its construction began in 2004 with the goal of increasing tourism in the country. The $1.5 billion skyscraper is mostly used as a residential structure with hotel rooms, but it has much more than that to offer. It includes one of the tallest observation decks in the world, as well as the world's second largest choreographed fountain just outside the entrance. Even taller skyscrapers than the ones we have now will be challenging to construct. Most countries have government-imposed building height restrictions, and there must be adequate flat land and finances to construct a new tower from the ground up. Now, let's move on to Jeddah Tower. The tower's construction is currently on hold. However, if it achieves its goals, the Jeddah Tower will be the first structure in human history to exceed 1 kilometer in height, dwarfing the Burj Khalifa. The tower's unusual aerodynamic triangle design and sloping facade assist it in withstanding wind loads while also paying respect to desert plant leaves. Unfortunately, a few big complications have already arisen with the building. The initially scheduled completion date was 2020, however that development was delayed in 2018 and then again due to the COVID outbreak. Exceed 4000. This giant, which seems like something taken from the cover of a science fiction novel, is a future concept building that will rise 4,000 meters over Tokyo's cityscape. Taipei Corporation conceptualized the futuristic skyscraper in the mid-1990s. Mount Fuji would be dwarfed by it. Let that sink in for a moment. On the elevated journey to the Expenthouse at 800 stories high, you could almost read a book cover to cover. It mixes ultra-modern living with developing transportation technologies and engagement with nature to accommodate up to 1 million people. It is a structure that encapsulates the engineering's community futuristic vision as well as humanity's growth. Solar energy is used to power the building almost entirely. Large parks with ambient natural decor can be found outside. For people of all stripes, there are big business places and residential areas. Because the construction is so tall, extra care must be taken to manage air pressure fluctuations throughout the structure in order to minimize altitude sickness. Renewable energy producers would be strewn about the structure to meet the majority of the power needs, while decreasing the overall weight of the power connections. The base has a diameter of 6 kilometers to sustain the tremendous weight, while the concave cove provides structural stability at height. The tower's open structure allows some air to flow around the circumference, reducing the weight on the bases and lower levels while also allowing natural light to pass through. The building's cost is projected to be between 300 and 900 billion US dollars. So, why hasn't it been built yet? The obvious reasons come to mind first. For one, Tokyo's real estate isn't exactly inexpensive. If this extensively swole tower was to be steady, it would suck up blocks and blocks. And then there's the matter of stability. Earth-shattering guests are common in Japan. Would the Exceed withstand an earthquake of magnitude of 8 on the Richter scale? Or would it tumble like Odin's Jenga set, destroying half the city? Lounge loop. Our next concept demonstrates that the sky isn't always the limit. The launch loop was first proposed in 1981 with the goal of revolutionizing the way people and cargo are launched into space. The loop would be created with a number of cables attached to Earth, and it would use a magnetic levitation technique to propel objects into space, similar to how the Shanghai Transrapid train works now. To enter the area just above the atmosphere and back, a ship would have to be 2,000 kilometers long with a maximum height of 80 kilometers, which is 8 times higher than where planes fly. The spacecraft would simply need to bring enough fuel to keep it in orbit. This would change the way we design space travel. The technology wouldn't be polluting nature as much, and it can handle multiple launches per hour regardless of weather. But as good as that sounds, there are various engineering obstacles to overcome. For example, we do not yet have the technology to regulate magnetic levitation electronically. There are also significant structural issues, and existing designs are unstable and risky, not to mention the high cost. Space elevator. Although the concept of a space elevator may never make headway, it is hard to predict what the distant future will hold. After all, many of the modes of transportation we use today originally appeared absurd. In 1895, Russian scientist and space explorer Konstantin Tsiolkovsky proposed the concept of a space elevator. Tsiolkovsky imagined a space-shaped cable with a celestial castle at the end, suspended in a geosynchronous orbit at a height of 35,786 kilometers, inspired by the Eiffel Tower in Paris. His space elevator hypothesis said that items would just require enough energy to travel up the elevator. The object going up the tower would essentially receive free horizontal acceleration due to the Earth's rotation. The payload or ship would have enough horizontal velocity once launched at the top of the tower to stay in geostationary orbit without falling back to Earth. Despite the fact that Tsiolkovsky's design was a compression structure with weight supported from below, many other concepts have centered on tensile constructions with weight supported from above. A cable that could reach above the Earth's atmosphere would be included in the elevator, an asteroid as a counterweight, as well as a climber prepared to make the voyage up the cable. Although this concept is intriguing in theory, there are numerous issues and technological challenges to overcome. The design was updated in 1966 by 4 American engineers named Isaacs, Vine, Brander, and Backus, who dubbed it the Skyhook. They discovered that the strength necessary for constructing a space elevator would be twice that of any currently available material, assuming the elevator would be constructed using a straight wire with no fluctuations in the cross-section area. Graphite, quartz, and diamond were among the materials evaluated by the 4 engineers. What do you think about these structures? Let us know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, then give it a thumbs up and ring the notification bell button for our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and see you next time!